Today, I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor.
Thank you very much, Lexi O'Connor, and welcome back to Freedom's Pep Rally. John James at your service, and I'm not sure if you're seeing us appear and disappear from YouTube. Do not be alarmed. For some reason, we aren't getting out to all of our, and it absolutely makes no sense whatsoever to me. We aren't getting out to any of the Facebook pages. It doesn't look like. However, we are here and we are going to plod on. As I say, coming up at 9:30 this morning, in just a little while from now, we have Representative Heidi Sampson is going to be with us. And she's going to be talking about the craziness that went on at the State House yesterday as the representatives and senators, I guess, tried to get into the State House without masks. And it looks like they were brought to a screeching halt. That shouldn't surprise anybody. So we'll check that out with Representative Heidi Sampson coming up here in just a little while. I cannot wait to have her on. We've got a lot of other news breaking this morning. Apparently, Rand Paul now getting death threats. He got a death threat via some white powder because he decided to take it upon himself using his freedom to deny getting the COVID vaccine because, well, he's already had COVID-19. So, I don't try to figure it out. It doesn't, the left makes no sense at all to me. No sense at all. But this is how they act. This is how they react. It's mindless. It's brainless. Good morning, Dottie. Are we streaming on Facebook finally? I was having a problem seeing anything come up here on Facebook. It's like we are non-existent on my personal page. I haven't checked Freedom's Pep Rally. I have no idea what's going on. Maybe we have been shadow banned. I have no idea. But we are on the radio. That's our thrust of what we do here. Legacy 1160 WSKW. We are at 1160 AM. We are also streaming at legacy1160.com. And, of course, we are on all the platforms. Hopefully, when we appear, I don't know what is going on lately, but I'm not going to worry about that. We've got things to talk about, people to talk with, things to do. Like I said, the Republicans in the Maine legislature went in not shirtless, not pantless, not shoeless. They probably could have done that and there would have been no pushback. The mistake they made, you see, is they went in maskless. And you can't do that. You cannot do that, you see, because that is not allowed by the totalitarian leftists like Ryan Fecto, Speaker of the House, and others. I do believe the Senate is maskless. If I'm not mistaken, we'll have to ask Heidi about that. But I think they are maskless. Oh, there we go. Now we're coming up on the, I'm getting notifications here. So what did they get for pushback? Were they arrested? Were they fined? We don't know. We know Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House of Representatives in the United States of America, started fining. Oh, no, it's the Senate in Washington that is maskless. That's what it is. The Senate in Washington doesn't have to wear a mask. The House does. Nancy Pelosi is fining Republicans because Democrats are able to do it and not get any pushback. There was a big video of Democrats, including Nancy Pelosi and all kinds of others, hugging and high-fiving and basically just French kissing each other on the floor of I don't know if it was one of the houses of Congress. But this witch of the West Coast, Nancy Pelosi, can do whatever she wants. Yet, she fines people $500 per incident if they go into the House of Representatives without a mask. Now, there are many things I would like to call Nancy right here. I will refrain from that because I'm on the radio. And I will not do that. But you can imagine what I think of fancy Nancy Pelosi, who could care less about people, who could care less about anybody but Nancy and her people. The people who align with her can do anything. They can go maskless, pantless, shirtless, braless. They can carry a gun on their naked body into the House of Representatives. As long as they have a D by their name and they align with her, they are okay. But as soon as she sees a Republican without a mask, $500, she's done it. I'm not lying to you. We are in the fight of our lives. These people are destroying the country. It's no wonder they're afraid. They should be afraid. The people have the right to rein a government back into control. We have the right by the Constitution. Now, I don't know if she's thinking domestic terrorists are going to come to her house and knock on her door and say, hey, step outside. I don't know what she's thinking. But they got the razor wire. I guess they're finally sending some of the troops home. They keep screaming and whining and crying about January 6th. What is January 6th? January 6th didn't amount to a pea hole in the snow, except an innocent young woman died, and we don't know why. And we don't have a confirmation. We think it's David Bailey. That's the name that keeps going around. Who is, he aligned with BLM, was an activist. Now, again, nobody has confirmed this. Look, I'm telling you right now, this is what they have to contend with. They will not release any name. We, the American people, have the right to know. We knew the minute Derek Chauvin was the guy who knelt on the neck of George Floyd. We knew the name of the officer in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. The minute Dante Wright was shot, we knew immediately, because we have the right. We have a right to know. But we don't know who shot Ashley Babbitt. So, yeah, I mean, say no. If David Bailey is not the man, the BLM sympathizer or the Antifa sympathizer, I forget which it is, activist. If it's not him, say so. Your silence speaks volumes because it's out there. It's on a bunch of different websites. There are a couple other names too, but David Bailey's is the one that keeps coming up. But they won't tell us. They won't confirm anything. So yeah, conjecture. The name's out there, we're going to repeat it. And we're going to go with that until we're told different. So if an innocent man is being blamed for Ashley Babbitt's death, the death of an unarmed woman at the non-insurrection of January 6th, then we have the right to know. We have the right to know. Time to take America back. This is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You understand that. You get that. We are seeing so much ignorance. I don't know how else to put it. The left is ignorant. They've stopped. They used to come out. It's interesting. They used to come out all the time, and they used to attack everything I say on Facebook. Well, my friends list has not dwindled. It's shuffled, and I've got some new people in there. I've still got 5,000 people on my Facebook page, and I know a lot of people check it out because I get a lot of likes and comments on different things. But the left has stopped coming after me. Do they understand the arrogance, the ignorance? Do they understand what they represent finally, or have they just given up? I don't know. I'm glad. In a way, I sort of miss it because I like to engage with some of them sometimes if they're not too far out there. Some of them told me, I'm not going to argue with you anymore because all you do is argue back. All right, well, fine. See ya. All right. See, they just want to drop their interpretation of facts and go unchecked, go unconfronted. But it's not going to happen. Okay, the numbers are still a little wacky here. I'm not sure what's going on. But I'm going to go ahead and never mind. I'll wait until we get on the air with Heidi. Heidi Sampson coming up here in just a few minutes. In fact, I probably can start getting in touch with her right now and see if we can get her on the air a little bit early. She's supposed to be with us at 9:30. I am just dying to hear the story about what happened yesterday. I saw a little bit of the video, but I want to know what the story is. I want to know how the Democrats reacted to them coming in there without masks on and what subsequently happened to them. So let me just dial this up here. Doing this while we're on the air. It's okay. Hang on. All right. See if we can get the ring. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Have to tell her she's on the air when we get her here. Dude, think this is her number. We'll find out, I guess. Everybody. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Heidi Sampson.
Hi.
Hi, this is John James. We're live on the air at Legacy 1160 WSKW. It's the way I had to roll this morning because I already burned through a commercial break and had to call you live on the air. Is that okay? Hello? Hello? Okay, well, maybe it wasn't okay. All right, hold on. Oh. Hi there, WSKW. Heidi.
Yes.
Hi, sir. I'm sorry about that. I lost you there. And what I was saying is because I burned through a break, I had to call you live on the air. I hope that's okay.
That's fine.
Because
we'll hit the ground running. Why not?
Absolutely. I knew you were expecting my call, and I really appreciate it. I was talking with Shelley Rudnicki briefly last night, and you folks have some great people in the caucus. I've got to tell you that right now, and you're one of them. And I've listened to you on the Mike Violette show before, and I really enjoy you and what you have to say and your passion for what you do.
Well, thank you. I do have passion.
Yeah, you do. And you so much passion that you aren't afraid to buck the trend, which recently seems to be you've got to wear a mask in the State House. Am I correct in assuming that's still the case?
Correct. Yeah. We've been told for... Okay, go ahead. You help.
No. I want to hear from you, but I know you went in. I saw a little bit of a video. You went in without masks yesterday.
Correct. Because it was Happy Mask-Free Monday.
Right.
Yes. And the governor and Dr. Shaw said, the science says we don't have to wear masks anymore.
So you followed the science.
We were following the science, which we've been told to follow for the last year and then some. It's all about the science. It's all about the science. It's all about the science. Follow the science. So now it's becoming very clear that the Democrats, and I really hate this Democrat-Republican thing. I really do.
Yeah, I do too.
But I have to say it like I see it. And the Democrats are really into power and pseudoscience.
Yeah.
Because it only follow the science when control and tyrannical practices are to their benefit. Use the science to their benefit. And then when the science shifts, it's like, oh, now we have to have our own little laws to govern the legislators, who, by the way, don't work for the Speaker of the House or the President of the Senate. We work for you, the public. That's who we work for. So if my constituents want to fire me, they will have a chance to do that in a year. But until then, I represent those people, and I've heard from dozens and dozens and dozens of them, and they are applauding us for standing up for the people, because if the legislators cannot demonstrate by example what freedom is all about and taking back our freedom, then how is the public going to do that?
Amen. And Representative Sampson, we're talking with Representative Heidi Sampson this morning, by the way. Just awesome to have you here with us this morning. And what happened to representative government? I mean, literally, what happened to it? We are not being represented by anybody. The Democrats are in it it seems they're all in it for themselves. They aren't talking to any constituents. And the constituents who talk to you, the Democrats aren't listening to you, or neither is the governor, apparently.
Exactly. And they haven't for over a year. And that's why we, legislators, representatives of the people, need to get some backbone and speak truth to power.
Amen.
We're not shooting, from the hip. We're what we're saying is truth, and we are ignored. And it's only getting worse because now, having showed up to the State House and had this, well, it really wasn't a confrontation. We came in and we had a discussion with the Capitol Police, and clearly they did not have the authority to stop us as legislators. All of us are autonomous. We don't work for the Capitol Police. We don't work for the executive branch. We don't work for the Speaker of the House or the Senate President.
Right.
So we don't have that same, hierarchy as far as, well, I could fire you if you didn't do this.
Right.
So we came in, and they clearly didn't have the authority. We wanted to hear from those above them, and we asked to speak with a speaker because we were all House members. And anyway, that didn't happen. He never showed up, and so we just walked by and went into the Capitol, the People's House, where we've been working all session.
Absolutely. God bless you.
And then what happened in the later part of the day is that I got word while I was actually in committee. It was my last day on the Education Committee, because we were finishing our last work, that I was going to be removed from the Education Committee, and that all of us that, came into the Capitol without our masks on were going to be removed from our committee.
Are you kidding me?
So that we got the official letter from the speaker in the evening. Oh, I didn't see it till the evening. And they replaced us with Democrats.
Are you kidding me?
No, not at all. So this is when I say pseudoscience, this is actually science fiction.
Wow.
It's all about power. It's all about control. We've been seeing it as members of these various committees trying to work with the Democrats as we work through bills. And it's been clear that we're in charge. We can do what we want to do, and we're going to make them feel it. And we can do it. And they're going to have to just lump it and, suck it up, buttercup, deal with it. We're in charge.
Amen.
And so this is a complete political power play. And I hope the Maine people start to wake up and look at who is fighting for them, who is fighting for their freedoms and their liberties. And I'll give them a big clue. It starts with a letter D.
Amen. Wow. I'm absolutely floored. Now, was this all committees that all the Republicans sat on? All the Republicans were removed from their committees who came in without a mask?
Correct.
And replaced with Democrats?
Correct. And like the judiciary lost 2 members and were replaced with 2 Democrats.
Now, who made this decision?
Well, that was the speaker, Ryan Fecto.
Who the hell? I'm sorry, Heidi. Who the hell does Ryan Fecto think he is? He cannot do that in a representative government. It is time for the people to stand up and call and make noise and go down there maskless, go into our house and knock on the governor's door and say, this has got to stop now. This is ridiculous. Ryan Fecto should have his ass handed to him on a plate, and he should leave and go back to where he came from today. This is unforgivable. This cannot happen in a representative democratic republic. This has got to stop. Representative Sampson, I am sorry. I have never been as angry at anyone as I am at the people who are making this happen in Maine, starting right at the top with Governor. I don't listen to anybody. My door really isn't open. Janet Mills.
Yep. Well, I'll tell you, the Speaker of the House has the authority as Speaker to, at his discretion or her discretion, to assign people to committees and remove them from committees, even with no reason. It can be just a whim. So that is, he's using, and I would say he's misusing.
He is misusing
the authority that he technically has as Speaker of the House.
Wow. What you talk about power trips? Holy cow.
Yep.
Ryan Fecto. Okay, here's the deal. If you're just tuning in, and we're getting a lot of comments on this right now, people are as angry as I am and as angry as you are, Heidi. What happened is yesterday when the Republicans went in to celebrate Maskless Monday because science, the Democratic leadership in the House, Ryan Fecto, the House Speaker, took all the Republicans off their committees where they represent us, we the people, took all the Republicans off the committees and replaced them with Democrats because he had a reason, because the Republicans made a mistake and followed science and dared to come in with no mask on. Unbelievable. I cannot believe this. Something has got to happen as a result of this. Something is going to happen. This is not going to stand. This is the end of this. This has got to be the end of this. I need phone numbers, Heidi. We are going to put phone numbers out there. We are going to make some noise and we're going to raise some hell because this is not right. This is half the state of Maine lacking representation right now. And
totally. Totally. And on some of the most consequential committees. Yeah.
Wow.
And I'll tell you though, John, I'm working on, I think you were aware that we had the Five Freedoms rally, and
Yes.
and one of the things that I'm working with legislative colleagues, is, I made a request to the public that was there at the rally. I said, you, the public, need to link arms with us, the legislators, because it's the public they are the engine of our government. They're the engine of a republic. And we need to work hand in hand with them. Now, as legislators, we have access to resources and information that we can help to feed to the public, but we need to have a system, a network that we can communicate with them. So right now we're in the process of putting that together. And what I would love to have any of your listeners that would like to be a part of this, I want this to be a statewide effort. We need to wake up Maine. They've been lulled to sleep.
Yes.
Because of this, they're in a stupor. They've been scared into their corners. Their houses, their doors have been shut. They've been watching TV, which is where the worst place to be, because they're being fed lies day in and day out, and they're not receiving information that would have them think more logically and critically about a thing. So there are people that are very aware. I just want to make that very clear. And thank God for them, because I'm going to need them to help us.
Absolutely.
And then we have to wake them up. We have to get them to look up, get a hope, get vision, see our future in a positive light, because people are losing hope. They're seeing everything being stripped from them, and that's demoralizing. And people have no hope when they're demoralized. We have to restore that hope. And then the last thing is to stand up, because you cannot fight sitting down. So we have to wake up, look up, stand up, and then we're going to move forward. And the legislators that are working with me, awesome team. You already know some of them. They've just been kicked off committee.
Unbelievable.
So we're going to be working with the public. We're going to have the public. They're going to be the engine of this. It's not us. We're not going to, be driving this train.
Right.
We might be adding some fuel and helping provide resources so that neighbor with neighbor, friends with friends can talk to each other, open each other's eyes, come together, and let's move this state forward, because we're losing this state. And I keep saying, who's fighting for you? Who's fighting for the state of Maine? And it doesn't start with the letter D. And So I would love people to reach out to me. I have a website, an email just for this.
Okay.
It's called, if you're ready, it's 5 Freedoms, spelled out, everything spelled out, 5 Freedoms with an F.
Okay.
At protonmail.com.
Proton Mail. I like it. More secure
So
than
it's an
Google.
encrypted email, so people's information is safe. And
Right.
It's going to be the vehicle that we communicate to folks. And we are getting ready to send out our first email. It'll probably be another week or so, because we're still trying to put the pieces together. So we have somewhat of a framework that we can then reach out to people and take the next step, which I will communicate to folks at that point. But we're talking about practical, everyday, easy things, because people come to us constantly saying, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? I want to give them something, say, here's what you can do. Here are a couple of things you could do. Start doing those things, and then come back to me if you need something else, kind of thing. So I think we're in a position as legislators to just be encouraging these folks, be a resource, come alongside them, but we're not driving this train. It's the public, and they have to be given the tools to do this, and that's what we want to do.
Amen. We are the serfs of the left. That's what they want, and that's what they're getting.
Yes.
And
I want to turn it upside down.
This is unbelievable. And I mean, this extends beyond Maine borders. But Maine is certainly right up there with the most tyrannical of them, whether we're talking Michigan or California or New York or wherever we're talking. This is Wholly unbelievable. So you come in without masks again, just to, and by the way, I just want to reread this email back to you. I've just posted it up on all the platforms here so people can immediately start using it to stay in touch with how they can help. It's 5freedoms@protonmail.com. And you email Heidi, and that goes directly to you, Representative Sampson?
Correct. I'm the
okay.
only one that has access to that.
Okay, now this 5 Freedoms thing, this was something Naomi Wolf was pushing, right?
Well, yes, she was, and it's kind of funny how that whole thing happened, because I've been talking about the vaccine passport for quite a while.
Yep.
Very concerned about it, and very concerned that this governor is just going to slip it in the the dark of night, and then we're going to be all locked in, and then it's like, that's it, game over. Terrifies me.
Yeah.
No mask mandate. People, if they want to wear a mask, they can wear a mask.
Absolutely.
But don't tell me I have to wear a mask.
Right.
And get kids back into school. That's been another platform that I've been screaming and yelling about.
Yeah.
Open up our commerce. I mean, I had rallies down in York County last year to get businesses out in front and have their voices heard about what was happening with the businesses and the lockdown. I have businesses closing all around. It's disgusting.
It's
we need to open up commerce, open up our freedom of assembly, and be able to go back to church, be able to petition our government, which we haven't been able to do. And I think I'm forgetting one. No. Yeah. Anyway, there's 5 freedoms.
Right.
And those are the things that Naomi Wolf is also fighting. And so on a whim, I called her publicist and said, hey, listen, you're a Democrat and you're speaking truth.
Right.
And you said you're willing to help people. I'm like, you know what? I literally, this is what I said. I said, I'm in Maine and I'm in Democrat hell. Can you come and help us? And she did.
Yeah.
So this is a springboard. That was the springboard to this entire initiative that we're doing with, which basically it's the Liberty Coalition that we are building, the Liberty Coalition. And this is going to go statewide. And we need people on board because they're the ones that are going to be doing this, and we are going to help.
Amen. And I think when is the next big turnover or potential turnover in the Maine legislature? Is it 2022 or is the next big turnover?
Correct.
It is. Okay.
Yep. In a year. They'll be gearing up elections, campaigns will be gearing up next year for the most part. There'll be some that are going to probably be doing stuff this year, but if we're kicked off the committees, I'll have all year to work on this.
Wow. Let me ask you this, Heidi. Have you had a chance to speak one-on-one with the governor since the lockdowns began?
Governor Mills?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Really?
I wrote a letter. Yeah, no, my communications have never been answered. No. I sent her a very thoughtful, well laid out plan for reopening the state way back when. I heard crickets, nothing.
Unbelievable.
Not a word.
What is going on in this state? I mean, they are working in lockstep with the federal government, which is now all controlled by and these Democrat didn't used to be a nasty word. It used to be the other party. But now you might as well say communists. They are in lockstep with communists. And they are fundamentally changing the country, as Chuck Schumer said he would do. If we win Georgia, we will change America. And by the good Lord, they're doing it. And John Kerry is as dangerous, and Susan Rice in Washington is as dangerous. And then you've got people like Ryan Fecteau and Troy Jackson and Janet Mills. And it seems like they all are reading from the same script.
Yeah, they get drunk with power.
Yeah. Right, absolutely.
And at some point, I'll tell you, pride comes before the fall. At some point, they're going to be so weighed out over their skis, it's not going to end well.
No, it's not. I hope we can save the republic before that, though.
I do too.
But have you noticed how fast, and after Donald Trump lost the election, notice how quickly they started to. The job one was to undo everything good that Donald Trump had done, from the border to everything. I mean, you name it.
Well, we saw that here. We saw that here. Literally last year, we watched. When Mills was elected, last session, I should say, when Governor Mills was elected, her party very methodically dismantled and took a bulldozer to every good policy that Governor LePage had put in place that had this state heading in the right direction financially. If your state is not financially stable, then everything else falls apart.
Right.
And they just ripped everything. Literally, it was like a bunch of little kids having a temper tantrum and just ripping things apart just because they could. And I'll tell you, if the Republicans get back in charge, they better step in on day one and have a plan in place to rebuild. It's like, how do you pick up all the dominoes that have tipped over? You have to have a plan, and you have to be, you hit the ground running doing this, and not just, we are now in power and hold position. That's useless. We need to have Republicans that have a vision and have a purpose and go after it.
Absolutely. Do you talk with, amicably with anybody on the other side? Does anybody on the other side think that their side has gone too far, or are they all right there with them?
Well, that's an interesting question, because I actually have some very amicable communications with folks on the other side. There's a few people, and it's been interesting to watch the metamorphosis on some of these folks when they first get elected, and they're naive to really how the Democrat system works. But if they step out of line, they get smacked down super hard. I mean, they fall into line, and then you watch the shift and change, and it's very sad to see. I mean, I can tell you a number of people who have literally been broken and emotional, pulling me aside and pouring out their hearts. So I know what they do. And they kept saying to me, well, you must know. I'm like, nobody treats me like that. Nobody has the right to treat me like that.
Right.
I'm independently elected. And don't you browbeat me, bully me, manipulate me, or, scream and shout at me and threaten all kinds of things. But that's the tactic that's used. It's pretty disgusting. But these people are very careful what they say after those beatings, those emotional beatings.
Right.
And I'll ask them point blank questions, and it's more what they don't say that's revealing.
Sure.
But I don't understand. Well, I do understand why they don't stand up. It's terrifying.
Of course.
It's terrifying. And, we have to get away from the fact that, like, oh my gosh, I might not get reelected. Well, you know what? Then you're not serving the people.
Right.
Because you're going to have to take some risks. And I mean, you obviously have to be out there, and what your base, your constituency wants from you. And you have to speak for them, even if it doesn't fit the narrative of the majority.
Right.
You have to speak for them. And, you might find out that there's more people that think like you than you thought. but you got to step out on a limb.
You do. You have to talk. You have to communicate with people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you think about it though, and that sort of communicating with people sort of flies in the face of what a dictator does. A dictator dictates and doesn't listen. And this is exactly the model they seem to be following. In fact, many of them seem to be reading from the same playbook. Now, I don't know if that's Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals, or if they have secret meetings and decide, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna excoriate people who come up against us or who have this opinion. How do they stay in such sync with one another in such a corrupt and evil way?
That's a great question. Honestly, I have to hand it to them. They are extremely well organized. They're militantly organized.
Yeah.
And they stick together because you know what? If you stick together, you win. And what do? I mean, we're all free radicals.
Yeah.
And everybody's doing their own thing, and they have their own opinion. Don't tell me what to do kind of attitude. And then we have Republicans devouring each other. It's the stupidest thing on the planet.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, do you lack discretion? I mean, like, open your eyes and see what you're doing. So, we have really polar opposites in sort of the internal structure. And, I see the Republicans as more like you're willingly coming into the fold and you share some of our principles. You may not share all of the principles,
right?
But it's more of a voluntary, like we're going to pursue this vision. And then as soon as somebody, you get these people that just are grandstanding and start to throw each other under the bus. And it's the most ludicrous, asinine thing I can imagine, because like, oh my gosh, you just did that in public.
Right.
Like, don't you realize what message you're sending?
Yeah.
You never see that in the Democrats.
Nope.
They will fight like crazy. And I know this for a fact, behind closed doors. And then they come out in public and everything's, sunshine and roses.
Yep.
And I remember growing up in a big family, and I remember my parents saying, we stand united as a family, all of us kids. We have to learn to stick together.
Yep.
And we might fight and disagree when we're at home, but we don't hang out our dirty laundry in public.
Right.
And that was a principle I grew up learning. And unfortunately, I would say the Democrats know that.
Yeah.
The Republicans need to learn it.
Absolutely.
They need to learn that.
Absolutely.
And
pardon me, and tell me if I'm off base with this, because obviously you're more, you see the inside, but I think more Republicans also have to grow a spine, like you, like Shelley Rudnicki, like some of the others.
I would not disagree with you at all.
Mm. Yeah, I mean,
and you know what? The way I look at it is, you got to step up and set an example.
Yeah.
Others, you have to have somebody that's going to go out in the front, and then others like, okay, I'll follow. And sometimes they discover their courage as they go with you.
Right.
But I spend a lot of time working with young people and talking to young people. Now I'm more in a position nowadays where I actually have the platform of speaking to young people. And the number one theme I've been talking about lately this year is courage.
Mm.
We don't have a generation of courageous people.
No, we don't.
Courage isn't something that's being taught or encouraged. And courage is something that is not going to be built unless you are willing to face adversity and become an overcomer. Yeah,
everybody's taught to be a victim, Heidi, and that's the antithesis of courage, and
exactly.
it's very sad. Well, listen,
so I want these kids to choose courage. It's a choice.
Yeah, amen. I love your mantra. I mean, you and between you and Shelley Rudnicki and others, I mean, there are others in there. I can't name them all. I mean, we've talked with Billy Bob Falkingham. We've talked with Jeff Timberlake. We've talked with a bunch of people, and there are some great people in there, but we just need more people with a united voice, a voice of solidarity. I mean, because we're all, at least people on the right, are all the same. We have the same desire, the same desired outcome, and that's to save our freedom, to save our republic, get rid of all of this horrible political correctness and victim mentality. And I don't know how we go about it, but we can't do it if we're not united. So
correct. Yeah, I agree.
Well, listen, I'm up against the clock here, Representative Sampson, but I sure do appreciate it. I'm sorry about I went off there a little bit, but
that's not a problem.
This is the first I'd heard.
You. Go for it.
Yeah, this is the first I'd heard of it. And when you told me what Ryan Fecto did yesterday to the Republicans, and if you're just tuning in, I will go over it again. By the way, it's 5 freedoms at protonmail.com. Get in touch with Representative Heidi Sampson, and you get some, for lack of a better word, some marching orders, some ideas on how you can help out. Now, what numbers should we give out? And I realize I'm running us late, but I think this is important.
They can actually reach out to me. My phone number is 207.
Yep.
590 1909. People can actually reach me. I don't hide behind layers of, communication.
That's great.
I will get to the phone as soon as I can. And we need to take the state back. We really need to take it back.
Yes, we do. Now, who would you recommend people call if they want to voice their malfeasance with?
As far as the speaker's office. Let me
great.
get that number.
That's good. I couldn't find that the other day. I didn't want to give out, because I know none of these representatives on the left anyway are going to answer their phones. So I figured that would just be a fool's errand to give that number out. But if you've got the speaker's office, that would be great.
Speaker's office is 207 287 1300.
Fantastic. Oh, that's great. Well, we'll give that out early enough, and I'll tell you that right now, Heidi. And I guess I guess we'll talk with you again on Thursday too, correct?
Yeah. Representative Sheila Lyman and I will speak. I'm going to have to kind of bounce back and forth because I have 2 bills in the judiciary being worked. So, but Sheila and I will be in the same room so that we can tag team.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, listen, I appreciate your will. You're always so willing to come on and so forthright about giving us your honest opinions, which we love. We don't. It's nice to hear somebody saying what it is rather than trying to sugarcoat everything. And
that's not my gift.
No,
I'm going to just say it like I see it.
Absolutely, and that's why we love you, and that's why we need to keep you in there. And Heidi,
I appreciate the time.
I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk with you Thursday. And feel free to reach out to me anytime. You've got my phone number too. So
great. All right. Thank you so much, John.
Thank you, Representative Sampson. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Representative Heidi Sampson, fantastic voice right there. Okay, just to update you, I'm running very, very late here. I apologize. If you're waiting for the news, and I know you are, bear with me for a second. Thank you, Casey. Yeah, please don't flood the chat with stuff that we've has been going back before. But using yesterday as a starting point, I think it's time to start flooding the lines. So here's the line you should flood. This is the Speaker's house. Ryan Fecto, what happened yesterday is the Republicans on Maskless Monday, because science, went in to the House without a mask, into the State House, the People's House, our house, without masks. Well, Ryan Fecteau didn't like that. Ryan Fecteau said you need to wear your masks. The Stuka. Heil Fecteau. So they didn't. And they were promptly removed from all the committees they sat on. All Republicans, all committees they sat on representing you and me. They were removed. They were taken off the committees and replaced by Democrats, making this even more of a... Let me tell you something right now. Here's what you need to know. Take this thought. Think about it for 2 minutes and then call the number I'm going to give you. I'll give you the email, Heidi's email too. The state is now being completely and totally controlled by Democrats. The Republicans might as well stay at home, stay off Zoom, and pretend they never get elected. I mean, it's been like that anyway, as you heard Heidi Sampson, as you've heard Shelley Rudnicki and Jeff Timberlake and Billy Bob Falkingham and others say. Governor hasn't met with him. Governor hasn't even talked to him in a year. So it's been pretty much a completely Democrat-controlled state, except Republicans had spots on important committees, education, law enforcement. No more. Ryan Fecteau, because they dared come in without a mask, has removed your representatives and my representatives from committees, replaced them with Democrats because he is the king. There is no representative government in Augusta. There is a king. His name is Ryan Fecteau, or I don't know, maybe the other king or two kings or whatever. You've got Troy Jackson and Ryan Fecteau basically with their minions running the state of Maine. That's where we are right now. Call this number. Tell them you want to raise hell. This will not stand. 207-287-1300. 287-1300. Again, the area code 207-287-1300. That is Speaker Fecteau's office. That is the number you need to flood with calls. You need to put it all over your social media. You need to share it. You need to tell people what is going on, and you need to raise hell, because this is the end of society as we know it if this doesn't change post-haste. 207-287-1500. Share it. Blow it out your roof. I don't care what you do with it, but make it known this will not stand. I'll be back. I'm John James. This is Freedom's Pep Rally.
Legacy 1160 WSKW.
This is Molly from Rod Cycle and RV. We're about a year into the pandemic, and we're all searching for some sort of normalcy. Picture yourself sitting by the campfire with friends and family, your favorite drink in hand, sharing stories and laughing. I bet you thought of a specific night. We want to help you find your normal. We have a large selection of new and pre-loved travel trailers and fifth wheels, fully stocked parts store, and the best camper service around. Rod Cycle and RV, Route 201 Madison, or online at rodcycleandrv.com. We're not trying to be the biggest, but always trying to be the best.
Hi, this is Teresa Smith, Director of Advising at Kennebec Valley Community College. There's no denying that the past year has been one of challenges and uncertainty. Many of you have had to change or even postpone your educational plans. Still, by working together and caring for one another, things in Maine are looking up. We're getting back to normal, and no one could be happier about this than the faculty and staff at KVCC. With a wide variety of online summer classes available, you don't have to wait to join us. You can get started right away while continuing to stay safe. Whether you're a student home for the summer who wants to pick up a few classes at an affordable price, or a high school graduate hoping to get a jump on college, our multiple summer start dates offer something for everyone. Financial aid is available, and high school juniors and seniors may even qualify for a free summer course. A list of classes and start dates can be found on our website at kvcc.me.edu, or you can call the admissions team at 453-5822. That's 453-KVCC.
It's a new year. Aren't you tired of walking over the same beaten up old flooring? It's time you installed a new floor that offers premium durability by contacting HT Winters about their line of Tarkett Pro Gen tile and wood flooring. Tarkett is designed to stand strong in all seasons against water, dirt, and sunlight. The best way to improve your home this winter is to install Tarkett Pro Gen tile and wood flooring. HT Winters, 43 Bay Street in Winslow, and online at htwintersflooring.com.
Partly sunny, breezy, and warm today. Near 80 degrees. Warm and humid for tomorrow. Highs will climb into the 80s to near 90 degrees. We will have the chance for some strong to even severe storms in the afternoon and evening. Mostly sunny, 70s Thursday, back to the 60s on Friday. I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Elizabeth Schulze. Adolescents may soon have another option for COVID vaccines. Moderna saying that its vaccine had 100% efficacy against symptomatic COVID in 12 to 17-year-olds in a clinical trial. Like Pfizer, it's expected to ask the FDA for emergency use authorization. On this day 1 year ago, George Floyd was killed.
President Biden will mark the 1-year anniversary of George Floyd's murder in Minneapolis with a private meeting with Floyd's family at the White House. The president had called on Congress to pass police reform legislation so he could sign it by this day, but negotiations continue on Capitol Hill. The president's gotten to know Floyd's family over the past year, and officials say he's been struck by the courage and grace they've shown, especially Floyd's 7-year-old daughter, Gianna. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken in the Middle East talking with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the Palestinians about the ceasefire with Hamas. This is ABC News. The governor of Texas now says he'll sign a bill that would bar cities and towns from defunding police. ABC's Jim Ryan says the governor is also set to sign another bill focused on guns.
Governor Greg Abbott has promised to sign the bill allowing anyone with a clean criminal record and no mental issues to carry a handgun with or without a permit. Supporters like State Representative Matt Schaefer say,
this bill is about common law-abiding citizens being able to carry commonly owned handguns.
Law enforcement reaction has been mixed, with some police chiefs fearing the law will make it harder to tell the good guys from the bad if everyone is carrying a gun.
And a climber who has made it to the top of Mount Everest a record 25 times already ended his 26th attempt halfway up because of a dream. Kami Rita is a Sherpa and says in the dream the gods told him not to go as the weather turned bad. Sherpas consider Everest a goddess and hold a ceremony before each climb. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News.
Start with everyone with a brand new puppy they cannot leave home alone. And there he is now, disemboweling a sofa. Now narrow it to the puppy parents who need to get their prescriptions refilled today. For you, there's Walgreens same-day prescription delivery. Medication sent right to your door from the local Walgreens you already know and trust. So you can spend all day at home teaching your new puppy some manners. Elroy, roll over. Or just sit there and tilt your head. Aw. To join, text JOIN-RX to 21525.
These days, physical distance can keep us safe and healthy, but emotional distance can strain relationships, especially if drugs or alcohol are involved. If substance use or addiction is creating a barrier between you and your child, you may feel alone, and you may not know where to turn, but we're here to help you and your family. Partnership to End Addiction offers free resources, guidance, and support just a click away. To end addiction, start with connection. To learn more, reach out to us at drugfree.org.
Hey, good morning. Welcome back. Legacy 1160 WSKW. John James Freedom's Pep Rally brought to you by the Gun Shop on Coney Circle in Augusta. 287-1300. I've made the mistake twice. I've given the wrong number twice. I think I've corrected it enough here. 207-287-1300. 207-287-1300. The Speaker's office in Augusta. Speaker Fecto, in case you're just tuning in, yesterday, because the rogue Republicans dared come into the State House, the People's House, without masks. Speaker Fecto took all of the Republicans off committees and replaced them with Democrats. Excuse me. This is not, I repeat, this is not a communist society yet. This is not a dictatorial society yet, although apparently some people in Augusta are on a power trip and think it is. I bet if the Democrats had come in without masks on, they wouldn't have been removed from committees. I want to make sure we got that number right. I think Heidi said 287-1300. And well, let's just see if we can get anybody here. I want to make sure it's the right number, you understand. Oh, I'm sorry. We seem to have... hold on. We seem to have misdialed. See, this is why I check things. I don't want to just offer numbers randomly if they aren't the right number. I think this is it.
Hello, Speaker's office.
Hi there. My name's John James over at Legacy 1160 WSKW, and we're live on the air. I wonder if I could speak with Speaker Fecto, please.
Well, he is not in the office today. Can I take a message and have him call you?
No, that's okay. If you could, I've got his cell phone numbers on the website. Hopefully he'll answer that. We'll try that.
Okay. All right.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Bye now.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
So she was very nice. So that is the Speaker's office. And you heard me. I told her we were live. And she didn't do anything that would embarrass the office anyway. I mean, she's probably the best they've got there. She was very nice. I needed somebody nice like that to bring me down a couple of degrees, bring me down a couple of notches. Telling you, I am fit to be tied. I don't know about you. I think everybody listening who is from Maine, and even people who aren't from Maine, are fit to be tied after hearing that. Who does that? Who removes people from committees because they don't wear a mask into the People's House, because they dare push back against authority, their parents? Who the hell does Ryan Fecto think he is, Daddy? Oh, Daddy, can I please not wear a mask inside today? Get out. You talk about a power trip. This guy is power tripping. Yeah, I thought Sarah Gideon was bad. This guy is as bad or worse. Ryan, there are two Fectos. Ryan, this is Ryan Fecto. We're listening to the science, and the science says we don't need to wear masks. Right. So where the hell is the science Fecto? Well, science doesn't matter if it goes against our narrative. Science doesn't matter. It only matters if it falls right in line with our narrative. By the way, if there are any leftists who accidentally came onto this show today, listen, you will learn. You will learn. You'll become smarter. You're ignorant now. You'll walk away a little bit more learned a little bit more intelligent, a little bit more objective if you stay. But you won't. You'll turn and run because you don't like people pushing against what you believe of climate change and masks and, vaccines. Thank you, Corey. Yeah, let's do this number. Let's flood everything we can. Post these numbers all over the place, if you would. Not for me. I mean, do it for us. Do it for the people. Governor Mills' office is 287-3531. I should have that in my memory now. 287-3531. I'm writing all over my my boat insurance policy here, but I don't care. I really don't care. I'm not going to renew that anyway. The boat's paid off. So Speaker's office. And if it's the same person answering that just answered our call, she is very nice. That's being professional in the face of adversity, because I'm sure the calls coming into there this morning aren't exactly the happiest calls. Don't be rude. Don't be rude to her. If she had been rude, I would say have at it, but she was very nice. If they're nice, be nice. That's the way it works. I mean, that's how you get more flies, right, with honey. So the Speaker's office is 207-287-1300, 207-287-1300, and the Governor's office, 207-287-3531, 207-287-3531, the Governor's office. Now, if you want to reach out to the great Representative Heidi Sampson and get some ideas of how you can aid the people, because when Heidi said, things are upside down, how long have I been saying this? For a year. It's topsy-turvy. It's upside down. It's opposite world. Now, okay, here's where the Democrats have put us. You talk about an awkward position. Here's where the main Democrats, led by Ryan Fecteau and Troy Jackson, and Governor Janet, the T stands for Tyrant Mills, here's where we are now. Tell me if this isn't true. We are at a point now in the state of Maine where the people have to actually do something, maybe go in to represent the representatives. Well, that's different. The people, the unelected people, now have to go in to represent the elected representatives who we elected to represent us. Something isn't right there. Wait a minute now. Something isn't right. That's not a representative government. That's not democracy. That is just upside down world. And the left will say, your leftist friends, you watch. Some people are going to post these numbers and post the story that I told about what Ryan Fecteau did yesterday, and they're going to call you names, and they're going to say, well, if they hadn't come in there without masks, shut up. They are such bedwetters. They're bedwetter, crybaby, curl up in a fetal position and call themselves a victim. That's what they are. And they are enabling tyranny because they're too lazy to fight for anything else. Am I right? Am I about right with that? So now the people of Maine are in a position where we have to go in, we have to take our time to get off our butts, to get out of our work, to go represent the representatives who aren't able to represent us. Because tyranny. Why does the speaker have that kind of power? That he or she, for no reason, can replace somebody on a committee. For no reason. I mean, this might as well have been no reason for not wearing masks. That, in my book, given the science, given what yesterday was Mask-Free Monday, given all that, he replaced all the Republicans on committees with Democrats for no reason. Whoa, the mask, shut up. Quit being a little whiny-ass crybaby, Ryan. Grow up. Grow up, become a man. Become somebody who is adequate to represent the state of Maine. Become somebody who is fit to be in the position you were elected to. You are not it. You are a scourge. You are an embarrassment. You are a power-hungry fool. You are a power-hungry tyrant who should not only not be in the legislature, speaker, you should not even be in the House of Representatives. And there are a lot of others like him in there too, by the way. Speaker's phone number, 207-287-1300. 207-287-1300. Governor's office, 287-3531. 207-287-3531. Now, here is Heidi's email address. If you want to get some ideas from her, she can communicate directly with you. And she doesn't even care what district it is because she's there to represent the people. And this is the best way she can do it right now because Republicans are shut out. They're shut out of the State House. They're not welcome as part of our government anymore. So saith Ryan Fecto and Tyrant Mills. 5 freedoms at protonmail.com. There's Heidi's email address, 5 freedoms at protonmail.com. Now, she gave her number, too. Now, that's another story. If she doesn't get right back to you on the phone, I was surprised she did that, but she wanted people to have her number because she does not fear we the people like some people do. 207-590-1909. 207-590-1909. At least drop her an email and thank her for what she has the courage to be doing. And while you're at it, maybe drop Shelley Rednicki a line too. And there are others. And you know who they are, but those are the 2 most recent brave, worthy of their positions souls that we have talked to here on the show. 10:27 now on Legacy 1160. We've got to take a break. And we'll be back. We'll get to some national stuff, including Rand Paul's death threat from the rabid left. It just does not end. We'll be right back.
WSKW, Legacy 1160.
Hi, it's Chelsea from Whittemore & Sons, where we are proud to carry Coyote tractors, some of the most powerful, fuel-efficient, technologically advanced tractors ever built. One reason we love Coyote tractors so much is that we have the perfect machine for anyone with any project. Coyote tractors are also easy to learn, so you can start using them effectively right away. Professionals who have been using Coyote tractors for years love that we have in-depth knowledge of all of our Coyote tractors so that they can get the exact machine and implement they need to take on the most important tasks. Check out the full line of Coyote tractors, attachments, implements, and accessories at Whittemore & Sons, with dependable sales and service for over 50 years. If you have questions or want to schedule a pickup, just call 207-474-2591. Run ahead of the pack with a Coyote tractor from Whittemore & Sons on the Waterville Road in Skowhegan. Sales and service by a family who cares.
Whittemore & Sons, outdoor power equipment.
Incense and Peppermints doesn't just have a huge selection of scrumptious candies. They have sweet treats that'll bring back wonderful memories every time you share them. Incense and Peppermints has candy that's fun for the whole family, like Jelly Bellies, Smarties, Turkish Taffy, Mellow Cups, Laffy Taffy, and Necco wafers. And candy that'll take you on a trip down memory lane, like old-fashioned penny candies, root beer barrels, atomic fireballs, Mary Jane's Bit of Honey, and Jawbreakers. They even carry Maine favorites like Moose Poop and Saltwater Taffy. Incense and Peppermints, 48 Main Street in downtown Waterville.
Spring is the time for renewal for both you and your home. So brighten your day and your surroundings with great items from Townline Antiques. Do you love classic decor? You'll find furniture, artwork, glassware, signs, and hundreds more pieces around every corner. Their classic colors and styles will have you thinking spring and feeling invigorated every time you see them. Or maybe you enjoy collecting books, comics, coins, sports memorabilia, watches, or classic electronics. Townline Antiques has rare items that you won't find anywhere else. Townline is also showcasing a new display of art glass that's absolutely dazzling. Each piece is one of a kind, with its own unique flair of colors and form. You simply have to see them to appreciate their beauty. And for everyone who loves to bring items back to life, they're now carrying high-quality fusion mineral paints that give you beautiful color and a durable, long-lasting finish. Townline Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5. Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassaboro Town Line.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future with us.
Partly sunny, breezy, and warm today, near 80 degrees. Warm and humid for tomorrow. Highs will climb into the 80s to near 90 degrees. We will have the chance for some strong to even severe storms in the afternoon and evening. Mostly sunny 70s Thursday, back to the 60s on Friday. I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor.
Thank you very much, Lexi. Welcome back. Mike will be back tomorrow. Mike Violette will be back tomorrow. He had some things he had to attend to this morning for people wondering why Mike wasn't there. My sister got in touch with bright and early. What's happening? Where's the show? I said, well, Mike he had something he had to attend to. And he's fine. He's fine. And he does plan on being back tomorrow, right here on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Boy, where to start now, huh? Again, I'll keep giving you the numbers. 207-287-1300. That is the Speaker's office. House Speaker Ryan Fecteau, who, because the Republicans chose to come in on maskless Monday without a mask because science. By the way, these people didn't practice social distancing or any of that when the cameras were off at the Civic Center either, by the way. They're hypocrites. They are hypocrites. And trust me, Ryan Fecteau was looking for the opportunity to usurp more power. That's all it was. He was looking, he was probably ready. He was thinking, they're going to try to come in without masks tomorrow. Watch me. We'll replace all, and I'm sure all of the Democrats were in on this. Watch me. We're going to replace all the Republicans with you folks. We're going to put you on their committees. How about that? Boom, wait and see. And it happened, and he did, and voila, he's got more power for the Democrats. And again, half the state being completely unrepresented as we have been for the last over a year. And one special election to reelect a good, wholesome family Republican, Will Garrett, after Shenna Bellows became the, treasurer, I guess? Or no, Secretary of State. And people in the electorate are too stupid to elect a good man like Will Garrett. I'm not saying anything about the guy they elected. I always forget his name. I'm not saying anything about him, but I'm just saying you're talking about good, moral, upstanding, freedom-loving, there's the operative word, freedom-loving people. Will Garrett was great, and I'm sorry to keep reliving that. It just drives me crazy that people, they see what's going, even as they saw what was going on, even as they saw the state going to hell, during the pandemic, they elect another Democrat because we need more of them. I'd like to go live in a country all by myself where I was the mayor, I was the governor, I was the legislature, and my family and me were the sole occupants. And I wouldn't, it's so frustrating and it's so draining to deal with the idiocy. And these have gone beyond just disagreements. It used to be, we disagreed, and that would be frustrating. But, you'd have a little moment, and then you'd be over it, and you'd move on. Because there's always a coming together the next day, but there is none here. There is no coming together. There's none. There are complete factions right now. We are being divided by the left. So let's keep electing the people who are dividing us because we're too stupid to see who is dividing us. And that's where the progressives are. They're too dumb. They're too ignorant to see who is dividing the country. It's them. They're too close to it to see it. So they keep wanting more of it. And this is what they get. Let's start out with the Kung Flu. No. That had nothing to do with the uptick in violence against Asians. Nothing. Violence against Asians has historically been done because of the way Asians are portrayed by elitists. Yes, the Democrats and those in higher education. Well, the Asians, they get way too many opportunities. They're too rich. They're doing too well. There it is, driving the wedge again, and then passing the blame, throwing the conservatives under the bus. When in fact, it is the oppressed that commit most attacks against the Asians. And naturally, when you start defunding police all across the country, there are going to be more attacks against Asians. And there were more attacks against whites and more attacks against blacks and more attacks against Hispanics. But they only cover one segment because it works to their narrative. Oh, they're so precious. They think we aren't on to. Well, half of the progressives have no idea what I'm talking about because they have no idea how they're being led. They're just being led and they're dumb and happy. Yeah, whatever you say. Yeah, the white men are beating up the Asians. Well, no, that's not it. That's not it at all. That's the way you may see it being portrayed by your chosen media and your chosen congressional people. If you listen solely to the squad and to mainstream media, you think the terrorists, you think Hamas is the righteous ones in fighting the war. In the attacks on Israel, you think Hamas, who was the aggressor, attacking Israel, you think they are the righteous ones because Israel had the gall to defend itself, and then young children started dying. Why? Because Hamas hides behind them. They hide behind the innocent people. The innocent people don't deserve to die, but the terrorists use them as shields so they can appear as martyrs, and the Israelis can appear as killers of families. But if you listen to the squad, Israel is just trying to kill the families, and Hamas is standing up for the innocent children. Okay, ignorance is bliss, isn't it? Wake up, woke. So last night, some more light shed on coronavirus. And you've heard over the last year, the New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, what were they screaming? Conspiracy theory. The virus did not start in the Wuhan lab, even though people were starting to say it. I said it. Didn't I say it? I said, I think it started in the Wuhan lab and the Chinese wanted it to come over here. And I thought so did some of the Democrats. And it came over here, started killing Americans. Yeah, that was a win for China. Well, that's a conspiracy theory. You are just such a close-minded xenophobe, John James, and a racist. Am I? So they've been screaming this for over a year, the media and all of the leftists, how we were xenophobes for blaming China. Joe Biden called Donald Trump a xenophobe for shutting down travel from China. You remember that? That little decrepit cretin who occupies the White House now and doesn't even know what the hell he's talking about half the time, or who he is, or who his family is. He doesn't know, apparently, that Wilmington, Delaware is not the central part of government. So last night on Tucker Carlson, it seems the information was put out there in its entirety as we currently know about the origins of COVID-19. And guess what? What I was saying last year, what many people were saying last year, what Donald Trump was saying last year, we were called conspiracy theorists, by the way. But what we were all saying last year, well, turns out they can't deny it anymore. They denied it and called us conspiracy theorists for as long as they could. But now, it's getting a little hot in here. Gonna have to get out of the kitchen, gonna have to make some admissions. Despite the vicious lies, the hate for Donald Trump, the hypocrisy, the name-calling, it seems what we originally thought to be the truth about COVID-19, but was called fake news by mainstream media for more than a year, was, in fact, the truth all along. COVID-19 was and is best described as the Wuhan flu. Here's what Tucker Carlson had to say last night.
Actually, it looks like this virus did come from a lab in China. Nearly a year and a half into the pandemic, that is the new consensus in the American media. Boy, these things change fast. Excuse me. Whoa! There are holdouts, of course. Just today over at the Washington Post, a China shill called Michael Gerson wrote a hilariously overwrought column with this title, quote,
yesterday,
"The right is dwelling on slanderous myths about the origins of COVID-19.
How stupid.
Slanderous myths.
They're
Russian QAnon sleeper cells slandering the Chinese government."
Mentally ill.
It's pretty funny. The good news is it's almost over. You're probably not going to see a lot more columns like that going forward. The nonsense is finally dying down. At other parts of Michael Gerson's own newspaper, we have learned, they are working on news stories about how the virus did, in fact, escape from a lab in Wuhan. So the debate among serious people over the origins of COVID appears to be pretty much winding up. Pretty much every sane person at this point acknowledges that the government of China likely caused the single worst man-made disaster in human history. As if we need more evidence of that, over the weekend, the Wall Street Journal reported that the very first people infected with COVID-19 were probably researchers at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. In November of 2019, 3 of them were taken to the hospital with symptoms. Now, the Wall Street Journal did solid reporting on that, but it wasn't entirely new. Back in January of this year, the State Department issued a fact sheet telling the whole country the same thing. They said the first COVID patients were not, in fact, hungry patients of the local wet market, reckless diners who gorged on pangolin and bats. No, they weren't. The first patients were researchers at the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
Right.
Clearly, obviously, they've been infected at work while working on the virus. So if you're trying to understand where COVID came from, and you should be, if you want to prevent future pandemics, that State Department memo this January told you a lot. And yet it was ignored. In fact, just a few hours ago, Tony Fauci himself, the man in charge of our whole response to COVID-19, explained to CBS News that he'd never even heard about the State Department's findings on the Wuhan lab. He had no idea.
Fauci. Wow.
In other words, Fauci's own employer, the U.S. government, publicly released compelling evidence that the virus he devotes his life to fighting escaped from the very biolab that Tony Fauci has sent American tax dollars to fund. And yet somehow Tony Fauci was totally unaware of this. He didn't know it till he read this weekend's Wall Street Journal. It was news to him, bolt from the sky, totally new information. Can we believe him when he says that? No, of course we can't. In fact, this show has heard that on or about November 19th, 2019, right around those Chinese researchers became the first COVID patients on planet Earth, the government of Thailand contacted the CDC and Tony Fauci's office to say that its intel service had picked up biological anomalies around the lab in Wuhan. In other words, there had been a leak. Now, we can't confirm that the Thai government sent this message, though we believe the Thai government did. We do know that several other allied foreign governments, including the governments of France and Australia, have gathered evidence showing the virus escaped from a Chinese lab. Yet Tony Fauci, who runs the whole thing, didn't know any of this? Come on. Of course he knew. Fauci, in fact, has known from the beginning that the virus may well have come from that lab. Many people have known that. But Fauci lied about it for more than a year. Here he is in May of 2020 in an interview with the willing dupes at National Geographic, telling you that as one of the world's most eminent scientists, there is really no chance that COVID-19 was engineered by human hands.
If you look at the evolution of the virus in bats and what's out there now, it's very, very strongly leaning towards this could not have been artificially or deliberately manipulated, the way the mutations had naturally evolved. A number of very qualified evolutionary biologists have said that everything about the stepwise evolution over time strongly indicates that it evolved in nature and then jumped species.
A number of very qualified evolutionary biologists betting you won't even know what that is. Really, a number of them. So where are those scientists today? Is there, for example, a single working virologist in the world who would come on this show right now and dismiss the Wuhan lab leak idea out of hand as ridiculous or, quote, outrageous, as Francis Collins, who runs the NIH, once did, to his eternal shame? We doubt there's a single working virologist who would dare to do that. But not so long ago, the entire scientific and public health establishments did that very thing.
They did that very thing. Yes, they did. Completely in complete denial. They deny, and they know. If my gut tells me, okay, here's, again, I don't mean to over minimize myself, but I'm going to again. How can a little dumb old disc jockey from a little tiny itsy bitsy town in central Maine know instinctively that this was a conspiracy? This was something done by the Chinese Communist government. It was covered up by the Chinese Communist government. It was released, and they intended for it to spread. I said that in March. And they're still, up till yesterday, was it Washington Post or the Washington Post, I think, still calling it a conspiracy theory. Well, either they're just dumb, and I wouldn't doubt that. They're just dumb. These big intellectual suit-wearing leaders and doctors and pathologists, and they're too dumb to know, but I'm not. They're too dumb to put two and two together, but I'm not. Be very afraid. Either that, or they're lying, covering up for the communist Chinese. Remember, that's the left's and many on the right's piggy bank. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I don't mess with China. See, the left especially doesn't care about you and me. All they care about, there are very few people they care about. We no longer have a representative government who cares about representing the people. They care about representing their own and their family's interests and their friends, some of their friends. That's a bad place we're in. Ryan Fecteau is no different in the Maine House. He's looking out for his and his party's interests alone, not the state of Maine's. Because a real leader would understand you get more done when you have more different opinions in a committee, inputting thoughts, inputting ideas. It's called brainstorming. We do it in radio. It's done in government. That's why you have a mixture of people on committees. Well, now because the Republicans didn't wear a mask yesterday into the State House, there are no more Republicans on committees. They're all Democrats. Thank you, Justin Fecteau. Maybe you can legally do it, but morally, you cannot, you should not have. And if you don't undo it right now, there's going to be hell to pay, my friend. Call the numbers. I'm telling you, make some noise. 207-287-1300. 207-287-1300. Demand that Ryan Fecteau reinstate the Republicans to the committees. Demand it. No, they work for you and me. You demand it. Well, he won't do it for me. He damn well better listen to you and me. He better. I will die on this hill because we're losing our representation here, not just in Maine, but across the country. We see it's all happening at the same time and quickly because the left is emboldened. The radical, corrupt left is emboldened. 207-287-1300. Governor's office, 207-287-3531. Let them all know this cannot stand. You order it. You are the boss. I am the boss. Order it. Change this. There is no representation for half of Maine. And COVID-19, well, we've known. I've known, and again, I'm just a little guy from Maine. I'm not a suit guy. I'm not in a suit. I'm not a Harvard graduate. I'm not a doctor or a surgeon or a pathologist or a virologist. I'm none of those things, but I knew this has been a cover-up for more than a year. I knew it in March of last year. And I said it boldly. I have nothing to lose. So our government, the government of the United States of America, covered this up along with mainstream media for more than a year by dismissing, humiliating, and canceling anybody who dared to raise a voice criticizing the Chinese Communist government. You don't do that. You don't criticize the communists. Especially Donald Trump. They canceled him, didn't they, huh? Because the radical, mentally ill leftists would rather paint American-loving patriot Donald J. Trump as a lying conspiracy theorist rather than admit that all their powerful friends and business partners in the CCP could possibly be corrupt. And Donald Trump isn't the only one who knew for more than a year. Here is more from Tucker Carlson last night.
Here's someone who deserves to be rehabilitated immediately. His name is Professor Stephen Mosher. He's an expert on China. He's a very brave person. You'd need to be to say what he said in February of 2020 when he came on this show. That was back when mass lockdown seemed like something they only did in China. But Mosher came on this show and told the truth. Watch.
I think it escaped from the lab because we have the Chinese government basically telling us that it did. Wuhan is the only level 4 laboratory in all of China. So that's where you would put a dangerous pathogen. Whether you were genetically engineering it to be a weapon or not, that's where you would be experimenting on it. So it makes sense that the epicenter of the epidemic, that the lab there would be the source of that virus.
So you look back at that tape and you think that guy was onto something. He was smart. He was honest. He connected the dots. For his trouble for telling the truth, Stephen Mosher was immediately denounced as a conspiracy nut. Meanwhile, the liars and the China shills got richer and more powerful. And the World Health Organization, which followed China's instructions and told the world that COVID was not really transmissible by air, now has the full support of the current administration. In fact, the United States has rejoined the World Health Organization with no conditions.
Yeah. Remember, for those who've been listening to this show for a long time, do you remember over a year ago when I said Xi Jinping and Dr. Tedros of the World Health Organizations were like this? They were buds. They were close. They were a couple of good old boys planning this COVID-19 release and their world domination. Do you remember I said that? Do you remember I said that? I said that. And now, look how everything I put out there as conspiracy theory, it's all coming to fruition. It's all coming out into the daylight. All of it. With the exception of a tie to the government of the United States knowing it was coming and not saying anything. I don't believe that's much of everything else. Everything else has come true. And it has been tied to the U.S. through Fauci, who is a liar, We now know he is a liar. He lied. People died. How many other people lied? Knowing people would die. Anybody in the higher echelon of our government? I wouldn't doubt it. This is really hitting close to home now. So the corrupt WHO with President Xi's good buddy, Dr. Tedros, is now one of our trusted partners again, thanks to our America Last administration of Biden, Harris, Rice, and whoever else, after Donald Trump made an adult decision to get us out of the World Health Organization because he's smart and he knew they lied. One of the first things Slow Joe did was jump right back in bed with him as if to thumb his nose at the former great president. Yes, I'm talking about Donald Trump.
This is despite the fact that American intelligence can prove that the World Health Organization lied and that people died, of course, as a result of those lies. Even now, tonight, the U.S. government has not launched a broad and serious investigation into where the coronavirus came from, if you can imagine. As a fact, they have not done that. At the same time, they're telling us we need a 9/11 style commission to understand every facet of the January 6th events.
How about that? Yeah.
But the pandemic that's killed 3 million people and destroyed the West, which it has, never mind. We'll let someone else figure it out.
People died on January 6th, true. Most of them from medical issues, one from a gunshot wound. We don't know who shot Ashley Babbitt because the government won't tell us. Something suspect there, don't you think? But this is all they talk about. This is what they want to spend billions of dollars investigating. They say it was our Pearl Harbor. Shut up. January 6th was a freaking walk in the park. It was a Sunday browse through the Capitol for most of the people who were there. Getting in was the violent part, breaking the windows. I will admit that. They shouldn't have been in there. They trespassed. But nothing happened other than the horrendous shooting, which, oh, we're told it was just. We were? Well, how do we know that? We didn't see any threat to the cop. We didn't see a gun in the. All we saw is a woman draped in an American flag, a Trump supporter, bleeding on the floor. Don't know who. Our government is corrupt. Our government is going rogue. A compliant society that doesn't question its leaders is a dumbed down society. And that's largely what we have. I mean, think about how very clear this all is now. It's like when your eye doctor puts all the different lenses in front of your eyeballs and things go from, really fuzzy. You don't know they're fuzzy until you get that super vivid lens and whoa, there's the sweet spot. Wow, right? He turns that crank or she turns that crank and hits that lens that just, wow. You can see letters 3 rows below what you could even make out before. So clear, yet the left in this country remains in the old fuzzy vision state, accepting everything they're told without questioning any of it. Shills, pawns. We've been asking questions, and they just comply. Oh, they tell us it's a sign, just like global warming. Oh, they tell us the science says Chuck Todd is a danger to American society. Chuck Todd says the science is settled. No, it's not, Chuck. No, you just want to tell your willing idiots that it's settled, and they'll believe it, and they'll sound the mantra, oh, we've got to change the globe. We've got to stop polluting the air. We're all going to die. Useful idiots. All. Ex-Clinton administration official and World Health Organization advisor Jamie Metzi, who is not a conservative, tried to blow the whistle last February before the lockdowns began that this came from China. But nobody listened. Nobody questioned what he said. Here's what he told Tucker Carlson last night.
I'm a progressive person. Wasn't a big supporter of President Trump, and I don't watch a lot of television, but I'm not even fully aligned with Fox News. But early last year, when I was looking at the evidence that was being presented, I saw a couple of things. As someone who understood the science, I knew it was complete baloney to say that the pandemic started in the Wuhan wet market when 40% of the earliest cases had no contact with the market. And as somebody who understood China, it really raised a lot of alarm bells when China was so aggressively peddling that fake story that the pandemic started, the outbreak started in the market. And then what really upset me was in February of last year, there were a group of eminent scientists, including Nobel laureates, who had a letter in The Lancet, the eminent scientific journal, where they said that it is certain or almost certain that the pandemic has a natural origin, and anybody who suggests otherwise is a quote-unquote conspiracy theorist. Wow. I was coming from a I felt, honest place, asking the tough questions that I felt needed to be asked. And I spent the entire year last year, like a small number of others, fighting this uphill battle because there was a fake and forced consensus among scientific journals, among mainstream media, not even allowing us, not even creating the space for this essential question to be asked. And I'm glad that that's opening up, but we still have a lot of work to do.
A fake and forced consensus. Bingo. He's a progressive. He knew. We've got more coming up. Death threat for Rand Paul because he dared to say, I'm not getting the vaccine. Now, in a free country, you could get that. You could say that and walk away, but you don't live. As long as you've got the progressive left here, you don't live in a free society. They won't let you. They don't want a free society. They love tyranny. We'll get to that after the news.
Legacy 1160, WSKW.
This is Molly from Rod Cycle and RV. We're about a year into the pandemic, and we're all searching for some sort of normalcy. Picture yourself sitting by the campfire with friends and family, your favorite drink in hand, sharing stories and laughing. I bet you thought of a specific night. We want to help you find your normal. We have a large selection of new and pre-loved travel trailers and fifth wheels, fully stocked parts store, and the best camper service around. Rod Cycle and RV, Route 201 Madison, or online at rodcycleandrv.com. We're not trying to be the biggest, but always trying to be the best.
Northern Light Health is seeking caring individuals that want to make a difference as patient service representatives, medical assistants, LPNs, and medication techs, registered nurses, CNAs, housekeepers, and physical therapists. And to make it easier than ever to join their team, they're hosting a Ride and Apply event Wednesday, June 2nd from noon to 6 in the parking lot of the Faith-Free Evangelical Church on Kennedy Memorial Drive in Waterville. This Ride and Apply event is the perfect chance to apply for full-time, part-time, and per diem opportunities currently available at Inland Hospital, Lakewood Continuing Care, Sebasticook Valley Hospital, and Home Care and Hospice. The right candidates will receive competitive pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, tuition reimbursement, and a 403B retirement plan. And did you know that classes, sponsorships, and scholarships are available to Northern Light employees? Plus, some positions are also eligible for a sign-on bonus. Stop by the hiring event on June 2nd or save time by pre-registering by texting RIDE and APPLY to 506-0033. Again, that's 506-0033. Northern Light Health is an equal opportunity employer.
Electrical repair should never be done without the knowledge of how to do it safely. Better yet, skip that stress and let Kennebec Electric and Lighting take care of it for you. Kennebec Electric has offered professional electric and lighting service and expert installation in homes and businesses for over 37 years, and they stand behind that experience with a guarantee on all their work. Kennebec Electric and Lighting. Contact them for all your electric and lighting servicing, including installations and repairs at 861-7028 or online at KennebecElectric.com.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future with us.
Partly sunny, breezy, and warm today. Near 80 degrees. Warm and humid for tomorrow. Highs will climb into the 80s to near 90 degrees. We will have the chance for some strong to even severe storms in the afternoon and evening. Mostly sunny 70s Thursday, back to the 60s on Friday. I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
This is Molly from Rod Cycle and RV. We're about a year into the pandemic, and we're all searching for some sort of normalcy. Picture yourself sitting by the campfire with friends and family, your favorite drink in hand, sharing stories and laughing. I bet you thought of a specific night. We want to help you find your normal. We have a large selection of new and pre-loved travel trailers and fifth wheels, fully stocked parts store, and the best camper service around. Rod Cycle and RV, Route 201 Madison, or online at rodcycleandrv.com. We're not trying to be the biggest, but always trying to be the best.
WSKW, Legacy 1160.
Us hardworking men still want to look our best. That's why you need to head to Penny's Barber Shop. You'll get an excellent haircut, straight edge neck shave, and a hot towel wrap, all for only $18.
Hi, I'm Christine, and I know what you're looking for when it comes to a great haircut and shave. From traditional styles to new ones, we listen to our customers because we have done it all.
When you look good, you feel good. So call Penny's Barbershop to set up an appointment today at 380-6224. Penny's Barbershop, 173 State Street in Augusta, next to Enterprise.
WSKW, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Jim Ryan. The COVID vaccine from Moderna is very promising, officials say, in preventing the disease in adolescents.
Moderna said its COVID-19 vaccine was 100% effective in 12 to 17-year-olds with no safety concerns. Moderna's vaccine is currently authorized for those 18 and older. The company said it would apply early next month to the FDA for emergency use authorization in younger people. It would give adolescents a second vaccine option after Pfizer.
It's ABC's Aaron Katersky. The White House has put out a statement saying that by the end of the day today, the U.S. will hit 50% of the country fully vaccinated against coronavirus. President Biden will hold a private meeting at the White House this afternoon with members of George Floyd's family, marking 1 year since Floyd was killed in Minneapolis. The site of Floyd's death, 38th and Chicago, remains barricaded to traffic. The Rise and Remember George Floyd celebration, including a candlelight vigil at 8 p.m. tonight, caps several days of marches and rallies. This is ABC News. Texas is on the verge of letting just about anyone 21 or older carry a gun. No license or training required. ABC's Andrew Dimbert says lawmakers have passed the bill and the governor is poised to sign it.
Emotional opposition came from State Representative Joe Moody, who represents El Paso, where a gunman killed 23 people at a Walmart in 2019.
One day, the tragedy will come to your community because we fail to be responsible to the members of our communities across this state.
Some police officials are also critical of the bill, saying it will make their jobs more difficult.
You're hoping to hit the road this Memorial Day weekend. Prepare to pay at the pump. The AAA expects the holiday weekend gas prices to be at their highest since Memorial Day of 2014. The U.S. Energy Information Administration says the average price for gas across the country has already jumped to $3.11 a gallon. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
At Lowe's, your backyard is the place to be for summer reunions. Get up to 20% off on select online patio sets and accessories, and blanket your flowers with a new lower price on select bag mulch starting at $2.88 a bag. Stop by Lowe's in-store or shop online this Memorial Day. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Patio offer online only, valid 5/20 through 6/2, while supplies last. U.S. only, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Hi, I'm Todd Simon, the fifth-generation family owner of Omaha Steaks. There's nothing I love more than putting a steak on the grill for Father's Day. With Dad's Day right around the corner, send him more than just a gift. Send him an experience with the Get Out and Grill assortment. This package includes 20 entrees he's guaranteed to love. My personal favorite is the 10-ounce butcher cut New York strip. Plus, you'll get 4 New York strip burgers free with your order. Visit omahasteaks.com and type RARE in the search bar. That's omahasteaks.com, keyword RARE.
Whoa! I know that wasn't a good sign. All right. I'm sorry, okay? John James here is Freedom's Pep Rally, brought to you by the Gun Shop on Coney Circle in Augusta. I'm going to give you some numbers and an email address here. We talked with Representative Heidi Sampson earlier this morning. Right on. Man, I've got to tell you, we've got some, for all the bad, we've got a lot of great representation in Augusta. It's only too bad they are not allowed by the left to represent us. The woman in Speaker Fecto's office said, "You want me to have him call you back?" I declined because he wasn't going to call me back. He wasn't going to call me back. No, I'm going to have to just leave I am sure I'm just going to have to leave a message, but you should too. You should let him know of your disdain for the decision to pull all Republicans off all committees yesterday and replace them with Democrats. It's a totally Democrat represented government now. Because Speaker Fecto threw a hissy fit yesterday because Republicans came in without masks because science, and he replaced them all on committees with Democrats. Ah, there you go. Another notch in the belt, right? Another feather in the hat, if I may say that. Here are the numbers for a couple of the Democrat offices you should call. One of them is the officer of the House Speaker. And the woman I talked with earlier when we called was very, very nice. Don't be rude. You can be firm without being rude. The Speaker's office number is 207-287-1300. 207-287-1300. That goes to the Speaker's office. And the governor's office number is 207-287-3531. The buck stops there. She has not talked with any Republicans in the last year that I have found. I suppose there were some on a Zoom call at one point, Shelley Rudnicki said. But by and large, no. She's talked to nobody. I mean, we have no Republican representation. First time probably in the history of Maine. This is all reactionary stuff. In national politics, they all reacted to Trump. And they did in state politics, too, to some extent. And they all reacted to Paul LePage. Because those two men I just mentioned like freedom a little bit too much for the left. Huh. Imagine that. Imagine we be at a place where the left, let's say it, Democratic Party. If you're a Democrat and you don't fit into that mold, well, sorry, you're known by who you hang out with. You're known by proxy. Democrats have become like a party of Stalin. They are a one-party control type of people. And that's exactly what Ryan Fecteau did yesterday, the House Speaker of Maine. He usurped power from the Republicans on the committees. How much is there left? I mean, why do the Republicans even need to go in? They had committee assignments. They were meeting in their respective committees on Zoom, in person. Now it's all Dems all the time. How dare they? How dare Ryan Fecteau make that decision for us? No, it's our decision, Ryan. I don't care what you're allowed to do. If you're a true, upstanding person, you know better than that. If you're a whiny-ass little crybaby bedwetter, which apparently you are, then it's your way or the highway. 207-287-1300. Share, share, share. Flood, flood, flood. Let him know. 207-287-1300. Feel like I'm at a telethon here. Governor's office, same thing. 287-3531. 287-3531. 207-287-3531. Now, Heidi Sampson is on the side of freedom. You want to reach out and find out how you can help? How you can help in this fight? And yeah, it's a fight. Maybe it may not come to fisticuffs. Hopefully it doesn't, or worse. But this is a fight for representation. Isn't it sad when we have to fight to be represented in a representative government? These people are, by definition, tyrants, communists, socialists. Look up the words. Look up the words. They are tyrants. They're dictators. Ryan Fecteau is a dictator. Janet Mills, that T, when Mike Violette says that T stands for tyrant, he's absolutely right. Look up tyrant. One party rule, baby. What I say goes. My way or the highway. Now we don't have any Republicans representing anybody in Maine. Tell Janet Mills, you'll never get Janet Mills on the phone. She's too good for you. She can make herself sound all like the mom of the whole state when, oh, it's good. There's going to be a brighter day. Just wait. Well, okay, the brighter day came. The brighter day came because you allowed us the privilege of going outside without masks. If we were vaccinated, we could go inside. But when the Republicans tried to do that, they were basically fired. How can you fire somebody who's elected by, well, ask Ryan Fecteau. I'd like to know that myself. The little hair across his butt, I think. He better undo it. I think he made a huge mistake. Huge. And I think he'd better undo it. I'm not kidding. I think you're going to see this undone. I think you're going to see Republicans reinstated. You watch. This shall not stand. So here's Heidi's email address. She'll get back to you. 5freedoms@protonmail.com. 5 is spelled out, by the way. 5, F-I-V-E, 5freedoms@protonmail.com. And Heidi's number, and remember, she's one of the good ones. She is a freedom lover. She is a freedom fighter. Her number is 207-590-1909. Excuse me. So there we go. Welcome in, Mikkel. Welcome in. Maniac Media, how you doing? Good to see you in there. We need to start securing yeah, we do. We need to secure the next election. We need voter ID. Do you know the deplorable leftists in the state of Maine said that voter ID is white supremacist? Do you realize also that almost everybody in the Maine House of Representatives and Senate are white, virtue signaling? They're crackers. And did you also know that a majority of black people think that voter ID is a good idea? Why are black people allowing white virtue signalers to tell them how they think? This is the way of the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is racist. They don't think blacks are as good as whites. That's the way it is. Behold the actions, not the words. Behold the actions. I've been called racist by white people, not black. Not once has a black person ever called me racist. You know why? Because I'm not. You know who has? A bunch of white virtue signaling Democratic leftist progressives have called me racist. A bunch of white virtue signaling Democratic progressive. I don't want to say something I'm going to regret here. You know who they are. You know what they have said? They have said, it's racist. It's white supremacist. In our own legend, it's white supremacist. Voter ID is white supremacist. And you've got black people listening to this saying, wait, what? And they're begging you. They're begging you, white virtue signaling progressive leftists. Why is it racist? So apparently, here's the black person in me talking. I'm not appropriating, I'm just saying. So I'm the black person. Why is my needing to show an ID to cast a ballot racist? Okay, I would like to see, because I've got a lot of black friends who feel how I do. They feel the way I do, believe it or not, and they like me. They like me. There's a couple of friends of mine I wanted to get on for a while now, but haven't reached out to. I think I'm going to do that, though. I'd like to get some answers. Why is it white supremacist to want voter ID? Why? Why? You're white. You're telling me it's white supremacist. You're telling me it's racist to have to show, which I by the way, I'm not too dumb, and this is what the left is basically saying. This is how racist they are. They're basically saying, and have said, just about in so many words, well, you know, the Joe Biden, hell, Yeah, the people, they don't know how to get on the internet and get an ID or they can't afford. What? Holy crap. Do you realize what a racist you are? Who stood up for slavery? Who stood up against slavery? Wasn't the left. We're all people. We're all the same color. We're colorblind. Critical race theory seeks to change that. The Democrat Party seeks to change that. They want us to see color. They want that wedge driven between us. And they're doing it. So here we are, one of the whitest states in the nation, and we have our all too important legislature telling us that voter ID, everybody's got an ID. I venture to say all of my friends who are Asian, black, white, I can't think of anybody who's 18 years old who isn't going to be able to produce some sort of ID. If I say, do you have an ID? But they know better. The white people, the pasty white senator, Troy Jackson, Ryan Fecto, they know better than you. If you're black, Ryan Fecto, the lily white House Speaker, and Troy Jackson, the lily white Senate President, they know better than you. And they're saying you're too dumb to know that's white supremacist. You're too dumb. We've got your back. We, the white people here, have your back. It's white supremacist. Don't believe it? Trust us. Well, how much more racist can you get? And that's our main legislature. And now we have no representation for Republicans. Again, one more time on these numbers. 207-287-1300. Speaker's office. Tell him to reinstate the Republicans to their appointed committees. Tyranny will not stand. 207-287-1300. And you also leave an earful and don't be rude. 287-3531, the governor's office. 207-287-3531. So, I mean, we can fill every show with the idiocy from the left. Now, Rand Paul has become a target of the left. Now, Rand Paul has said he's not going to get vaccinated. Dr. Rand Paul said he is not going to get vaccinated. And yesterday he explained why.
You know, I think medical decisions in a free society, each individual assumes their own risk. And the thing is if someone chooses not to be vaccinated and you are vaccinated, they're not a risk to you. Mm-hmm. They're taking a risk for themselves.
Correct.
So I think really medical decisions should be private. In fact, we used to all believe that. There's a law called HIPAA that really says we're really not supposed to pry into the medical affairs of our employees. So I think really in the end, we need to have a little bit more of a relaxed atmosphere here, because I think people, particularly on the left, they're saying, oh, I could never go to a restaurant if someone next to me wasn't vaccinated. And it's like, well, it shouldn't matter to you at all. If you've been vaccinated, you're protected. And if that's their business, if they, have either a religious or philosophic reason, or maybe they just think the pandemic's over and they don't want to get vaccinated, or maybe they're like me, I already had it. I mean, should they force people to get vaccinated that already had COVID and survived? They would first have to prove that the vaccine is better than being infected. I'm not saying it's wise to get infected on purpose, but a lot of us got infected whether we wanted to or not. About 100 million of us got infected. And I think that we should have a choice whether we take a vaccine or not, because frankly, all of the studies show that I have just as good of immunity as the people who've been vaccinated. Now, in a year's time, if people say, oh, people that had it naturally are getting infected a lot more than people who've been vaccinated, I might change my mind. But until they show me evidence that people who've already had the infection are dying in large numbers or being hospitalized or getting very sick, I've just made my own personal decision that I'm not getting vaccinated because I've already had the disease and I have natural immunity now.
Well, there you go. Imagine that. A personal choice in America. Wow. Can you even imagine? Well, People on the left can't imagine that. People on the left, like the woman who was all alone standing by a pond holding a fishing pole the other night with nobody probably for miles except passing cars on a nearby street. But she dutifully wore her mask while she fished. I mean, you don't want to give those fishes COVID, right? Compliance is going to kill us. Compliance, I'm well, Megan. Thank you very much. How are you? Compliance is going to kill us. Because when you see compliant people, you ask, what are they complying with? They are complying with government fear tactics. Government, and we're going to get to this next. I've got great information on this. Great information at its very base level so we can all understand it. Believe me, when I have things explained to me, I like it kept basic. I don't like big words and these really convoluted explanations. I like it plain and simple, nice and slow, nice and easy. Like I can Tina Turner, Proud Mary, right? Love that. Love the Proud Mary with Ike and Tina. CCR. Now give me Ike and Tina any day on that song. Anyway, so we're going to keep it nice and easy, but it's going to make a lot of sense to you. So Rand Paul used his freedom, his personal freedom, to decide, well, I'm not going to get the vaccine. I've had COVID-19, been there, done that, got the antibodies. And besides, if I do have germs in me, then anybody who's vaccinated is not any less safe. It's me who's less safe. Unless you're a fearmonger, a virtue signaling fearmonger, or just a virtue signaler who likes to wear masks because you're better than everybody. So yesterday, people excoriated Rand Paul all over Twitter, saying, well, the neighbor should have done a lot. Remember, he got beaten up by his neighbor, the idiot left-wing nut job neighbor. He lost his hearing in his left ear or right ear or something. Well, they were all, well, the neighbor should have. I would hug that neighbor, they said. Because he decided not to get a vaccine. So, remember the left came unhinged when he said he wasn't going to get a vaccine? According to Newsmax, this morning, a suspicious package with a white powder and a death threat arrived at Rand Paul's house. This was yesterday. The outside of the envelope showed a photo of a bruised and bandaged Paul. Listen to this. Listen to the sickness from progressives. Progressives, understand you are very, very sick. You are mentally ill. Understand it. You've got psychological problems you need to have treated. Here's what it said. Here's what it showed. The outside of the envelope showed a photo of bruised and bandaged Rand Paul, presumably from when he got beaten up earlier. But this photo also showed Paul with a gun to his head and a threat below it saying, I'll finish what your neighbor started, you mother effer. What has Rand Paul ever said? Yeah, I've never heard Rand Paul that overly angry or confrontational. He's very passionate, and he will confront people like Fauci and push back. But like yesterday, he said, well, I'm using my free will not to get the shot. And now they're saying, I'll finish what your neighbor started, mother effer. And there's a picture of Paul with a gun to his head. Hello? Wow. In 2017, it was back in 2017, 4 years ago, he was assaulted by a neighbor named Renee Bushy. Broke 5 of Paul's ribs. He finally pleaded guilty to assaulting a member of Congress, and he was sentenced to 8 months in prison. Now, Paul wrote a statement on yesterday, saying, I take these threats immensely seriously. I've been targeted multiple times now. It is reprehensible that Twitter allows C-list celebrities to advocate for violence against me and my family. This must stop. And Twitter does. Twitter allows threats against people who love freedom. But they won't take anything from people who like Trump, who are Trump, or who support Trump. We're almost there. We're almost there, friends. We are almost at the point of no return. Don't doubt me on this. He said, this guy said, Richard Marx. Oh, by the way, yeah, C-list Richard Marx, he, what's some of his songs? Should've Known Better. Was that a Richard Marx song? I actually liked Richard Marx music. I just want you to know who this guy is. I didn't even know. He's just trying to stay relevant at this point, I think. I think it was Should've Known Better. Yeah, should have known better. Hold on to the nights, right here waiting. Now and forever. Hazard. Remember Hazard? Great songs. I like the songs. So Richard Marx, after Rand Paul, all he said was, I've just decided I'm not going to get the shot. I've had COVID, not going to get the shot. So Richard Marx says, I'll say it again. If I ever meet Rand Paul's neighbor, I'm going to hug him and buy him as many drinks as he can consume. Tell me, now this is Richard Marx. This is a very well-to-do. Well, maybe he's living under a bridge now. Success, fleeting sometimes. Remember Danny Bonaducci? So Richard Marx, I had respect for him as an entertainer. I never knew his politics. Never knew it. Never knew his politics until this. And now he basically says, finish what the neighbor started. In other words, kill Rand Paul, the hit maker that people adored and admired the music of, the hit maker, saying Rand Paul should be finished off because he said he wasn't going to get the COVID. Hey, Richard Marx of Venezuela, Cuba's calling. They want you back. They want you back where you belong, where you'll be happy. Don't worry, they'll tell you what to do there. You won't have to worry about people having too much freedom in Cuba. They're out of their freaking minds. The left is losing it. Hardcore. And they're being driven by the media. Rick Santorum, Republican, fired by CNN. Yesterday or the day before. Chris Cuomo sits there proud, cocky, high and mighty. Tiffany Cross, Joy Reid, Al Sharpton, inciting violence, especially Reed and Cross. We already know. I mean, Sharpton just is a loudmouth. We're just used to him. Tiffany Cross and Joy Reid inciting violence every time they open their mouth. Race baiters, they are the top of the heap. They are the best when it comes to race baiting. And saying the cops need to be dismantled, that they're out murdering and hunting black people. There's no one better at inciting violence than MSNBC. And everybody looks the other way. Where is the media? Where are they reporting on these mooks? No, they'd rather report on what a dangerous person Tucker Carlson is. Yeah, I'm talking about people like, like MSNBC and like Humpty Dumpty, Brian Stelter on CNN. Brian Stelter, I think, Humpty Dumpty, I think he has a man crush on Tucker. I know he's very, very jealous of Tucker because Brian Stelter sucks and he's not talented and he has no success and he hates Fox and he always rails on Tucker Carlson because he figures maybe that'll get him mentioned on Tucker Carlson's show and maybe then more people will know his name because nobody who watches CNN knows who the hell people who don't watch CNN sure as hell don't know who Brian Stelter is. But these are the battles they pick rather than confront the people who are destroying America. They're evil. From the media to Congress to your friends out there in the community who call you racist and xenophobe and transphobe and everything else on social media. They're all evil, they're corrupt, and they're just looking for a fight. And they're looking to drive the wedge between us and make us hate each other. We have to defy that. I'll be right back. Got to take a break. This is Freedom's Pep Rally.
WSKW, Legacy 1160.
Spring is the time of renewal for both you and your home. So brighten your day and your surroundings with great items from Townline Antiques. Do you love classic decor? You'll find furniture, artwork, glassware, signs, and hundreds more pieces around every corner. Their classic colors and styles will have you thinking spring and feeling invigorated every time you see them. Or maybe you enjoy collecting books, comics, coins, sports memorabilia, watches, or classic electronics. Townline Antiques has rare items that you won't find anywhere else. Townline is also showcasing a new display of art glass that's absolutely dazzling. Each piece is one of a kind with its own unique flair of colors and form. You simply have to see them to appreciate their beauty. And for everyone who loves to bring items back to life, they're now carrying high-quality fusion mineral paints that give you beautiful color and a durable, long-lasting finish. Townline Antiques open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5, Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassalboro Town Line.
Northern Light Health is seeking caring individuals that want to make a difference as patient service representatives, medical assistants, LPNs, and medication techs, registered nurses, CNAs, housekeepers, and physical therapists. And to make it easier than ever to join their team, they're hosting a Ride and Apply event Wednesday, June 2nd from noon to 6 in the parking lot of the Faith-Free Evangelical Church on Kennedy Memorial Drive in Waterville. This Ride and Apply event is the perfect chance to apply for full-time, part-time, and per diem opportunities currently available at Inland Hospital, Lakewood Continuing Care, Sebasticook Valley Hospital, and Home Care and Hospice. The right candidates will receive competitive pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, tuition reimbursement, and a 403B retirement plan. And did you know that classes, sponsorships, and scholarships are available to Northern Light employees? Plus, some positions are also eligible for a sign-on bonus. Stop by the hiring event on June 2nd or save time by pre-registering by texting Ride and Apply to 506-0033. Again, that's 506-0033. Northern Light Health is an equal opportunity employer.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future with us.
Partly sunny, breezy, and warm today. Near 80 degrees. Warm and humid for tomorrow. Highs will climb into the 80s to near 90 degrees. We will have the chance for some strong to even severe storms in the afternoon and evening. Mostly sunny 70s Thursday, back to the 60s on Friday. I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor.
Okay, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. I'm sitting here in my studio, okay? I don't know if you can see this. Let me show you. I don't think you're going to be able to see it unless switch to camera 1. Can you see that? Yeah, see that? That's a tick. That was crawling up my leg. I'm inside. I think that's a deer tick. They're everywhere, and they're dangerous. The deer ticks carry Lyme disease, which can be very, very debilitating. And you can't kill them. Okay. All right. I guess you can. No, they're hard to kill. And they just show up. You know, there are ants around, and I expect those, but a tick. Every time we go outside, remember the song "Check You for Ticks"? I mean, in Maine, that's a thing. That is a thing, because just about every time, even we don't have to be near their woods. Used to be, well, you go in the woods, make sure you check yourself for ticks when you're done. We just go out on the lawn or out on the deck, and we'll come in, and there'll be ticks on us. And I'm sure you've experienced the same thing. You burn him. I would have. I don't. Yeah. No, you know my luck. I would not burn him unless I was way, way away from here. Then I might have a little fun. Anyway, okay, so that took me aback. So I had somebody ask me one time when I wore this hat. Oh no, okay, no, I'll talk about the hat later if we have time. I'm wearing my Black Guns Matter hat. And they asked me if it was, first of all, let me tell you, no, it's not racist. It is absolutely not racist. Actually, it's an organization. And actually, it was founded by a black guy. So just to anybody having a meltdown over my Black Guns Matter hat, just don't. There's a new piece out by Leo Terrell. I really would love to hear that right now, but I'm not going to. I want to get to what the left is doing and how they're doing it. We know what they're doing. They're trying to take away our power. They are usurping power, and they are doing it at lightning speed. And they are doing it through fear. And because the leftists are controlled not by intellect, as they like you to think. They're controlled almost exclusively by emotion. And one of the biggest emotions is fear. Now, let's talk about fear and how it is affecting our society right now. And I mean, there's a lot of other things too, including racism, mainstream media driving the wedge. But hear me out here. I picked this up in an article in WND.com, and I will tell you, in the May issue of WND's Whistleblower magazine, they exposed the many fear campaigns currently being deployed against Americans, as well as key strategies and insights to counter them. So that might well be worth picking up. I'm going to get it. You might consider it too. But let's go through this a little bit. The far left is using fear to gain control, and it appears to be working. Even with the mask mandate lifted, I saw people walking around in the Hannaford parking lot yesterday, masked up in the parking lot. Still in compliance with government, even after government has decided to throw us a bone. Janet Mills has decided to give us the privilege of going maskless inside if we've been vaccinated. There is an inherent danger in wimpiness and compliance. And that's not lost on the progressives. WND.com published a story about the things the left is using successfully to strike fear into their bedwetting subjects. Now, when you put these all together, you realize it's truly a tactic and very frightening how many people are actually falling for it. As usual, without question, because they believe it's science, because that's what they're told. Whether it's true or not, they believe it's science if they are told by the people they trust. And those people they trust are in mainstream media and in the far left reaches of Congress and the Oval Office now, unfortunately. So they'll always follow the so-called science until it doesn't align with their desired endgame, and then they just start making stuff up. Then it doesn't matter anymore. Listen and consider these fear factors, which, by the way, align with Saul Alinsky Rules for Radicals perfectly. Now, I have this listed as rule number 9. Saul Alinsky. The threat is usually more terrifying than the thing itself. Imagination and ego can dream up many more consequences than any activist. So let's go through some of the fears here, and let's see how they're working against us. COVID-19, the pandemic. The arbitrary and contradictory lockdown, which it is proven was more dangerous than had we left society open. That seems to be the word on the street. That seems to be the word in Florida and in South Dakota. Did the whole populations of either state die? Texas just logged, for the first time, a whole period without a single death. And they have been wide open for over a month. They're a lot bigger state than Maine is, and we're still, getting, sadly, a death or two every day or so. Texas was death-free. Huge state, wide open, no mask, no nothing. Okay, so there's that. Climate change. Oh, climate change. Oh, there are so many sheeple out there on climate change. So many sheeple on climate change. How much proof? You know why they don't take proof from scientists and science on the other side? Because they don't want to think that anybody who's a conservative could possibly be right. So they're willing to walk through fire and go through hell in order to align with their chosen edicts, their chosen ideology, rather. According to America's ruling elite, climate change threatens the very existence on Earth in a short time, unless a new radical global reset is implemented almost immediately. And look how fast they are working to do that. Look how fast. Day one, the Keystone Pipeline, drilling and fracking on federal lands, all canceled. Day one. Didn't waste any time because we're all going to die. But we're not. Where are the high-paying green energy jobs? Where? There was the promise of those. I've heard no more about it. I've seen no want ads. I've heard no ads on the radio saying, well, you got windmill turbines and solar panel manufacturers. We're hiring now. High wages, benefits. Am I missing something? I remember Solyndra. You remember Solyndra? I think it was $250 million Joe Biden gave Solyndra. It's going to make green energy a thing. Solyndra is a beautiful sunshine and power is going to be beautiful. The earth is. Oh, they went belly up, didn't they? Yeah, that's right, too. Darn the luck. That was a bad investment. Well, lucky it was our money and not yours, Barack. They don't care about it as long as it's our money. As long as it's not their money. Oh, Jay, he's doing okay. Did you hear he's got a nice oceanfront house on Martha's Vineyard, even with the rising ocean waters? By the way, they're rising at a little over 1 millimeter a year. So I think Barack Obama, his daughters, his grandkids, his great-grandkids, his great-great-grandkids, his great-great-great-great-grandkids, I think they'll be long gone before they've got to worry about the ocean lapping up against their Martha's Vineyard mansion. So yeah, climate change, that's another false fear. The indictment of America as irredeemably racist, that is a false fear. It's a false narrative. It is a wedge, and they keep, where do they push it? Mainstream media and the squad and the mainstream leftists. They push the wedge. They drive the wedge. They call you racist. They call voter ID white supremacist. Most black people don't agree with any of that. They're being told by white people how they're supposed to feel and how they are being treated poorly. All right. Law enforcement is racist. They're out murdering black people. Now, what is that doing besides causing violence and terror, real domestic, not January 6th. That wasn't domestic terror. Nancy Pelosi, shut your fat, Botox-laden, loose-tooth mouth. That was a hell of a long way from an insurrection. Armed insurrection, my patootie. No. The real violence, the real danger, the real domestic terrorists are in the streets, screaming for the police to be defunded because the squad and Maxine Waters and Joy Reid and Tiffany Cross and Al Sharpton say the police must be defunded. AOC says the police must be reimagined. Ilhan Omar says the police are a cancer on society. And the violence ensues. There's your domestic terrorism. This, by the way, what do these all have in common? Where is the impetus for them? From the left. Correctamundo, my friend. Cancel culture. Who cancels? The left. When do they cancel? Whenever they don't agree with somebody. They canceled Ellen DeGeneres. They canceled the gay black man on Dancing with the Stars because he dared to say something nice about former press secretary Sean Spicer. He was canceled. Get this, here is a gay black man on Dancing with the Stars. I'm sorry, I forget his name. He talked with Sean Spicer, said, hey, Sean Spicer and I had a nice chat. He's a really nice guy because people can talk like that. People can be nice to nice people like that. But they sent this guy, this Dancing with the Stars guy, death threats, not only for him, but for his children. How about that? How about that? Then you've got Goya Foods. Goya Foods, thank God for President Donald Trump. And AOC and the squad and others were right. Boycott Goya Foods. It's all from the left. Prove me wrong. What unites every one of these and other current assaults on all of us? Fear. This is their operative word, fear. The Biden administration, not Biden himself, that's a puppet show. Biden is a puppet. The far-left radicals, Susan Rice, AOC, Elizabeth Warren probably. Who knows? You know who they are. You know the names. Kamala Harris. All of them. They're trying to transform America into, and they're doing it, an obedient and subservient socialist state through fear. This is how they're doing it. They are doing it. It's working. Look at all the compliance going on with mail. Oh my God, I'm going fishing. I can't go outdoors. I've got to wear a mask. So the woman's down there by the lake by herself in the middle of nowhere in Maine, the great state of Maine. Well, we got about 2 trillion square miles with nobody on it. And she's down there fishing with a frickin' mask on because the government told her to. Subservient. They are getting control of the weak-minded, ignorant people, and they're all leftists. Can I say it again? Can I say it louder? They are all leftists, and they call us ignorant. Ha! Bedwetters. They're totally unable to deal with any actual challenges to America. Joe Biden and company. So they are using the same methods totalitarians and tyrants have always used to denominate a society, deliberately instilling into the people mortal fear and hatred toward non-existent or exaggerated threats and toward one another. There's that wedge that MSNBC and Joy Reid and Tiffany Cross and all the rest of the mainstream media drive into us every single night, right in between us, every single night. If you watch that news, no wonder you think the way you do. No wonder you're ignorant. They've made you ignorant and then told you you're woke. They're kissing you while they're right? They're making you feel good while they're dumbing you down by calling you woke. Whoa, I'm woke because I watch Chris Cuomo. By the way, if you missed this story yesterday, new poll by Rasmussen. That's pretty, right down the middle. Left, if anything, polling outlet, right? Everything's polling is, and fact-checking is usually left. Rasmussen showed that when it comes to news, knowing what is going on in the news, Fox News viewers are smarter than those who watch MSNBC and CNN. Just throwing that out there. I'm running way late. I'm having a good time. Okay, and I apologize to, I think that's Mac back at the station. Yeah, that's Mac back there. Hi, Mac. Sorry about this. So here's the dealio. You want to call the main House Speaker. Here's what Ryan Fecteau did yesterday. In case you're just tuning in, Ryan Fecteau, Speaker of the main House, Republicans came in without masks, despite the fact it is no mask Monday because the rule was dropped. But Ryan Fecteau said, we still want you to wear masks when you come into the people's house. Republicans did not. And so they were immediately removed from their committees and replaced with Democrats. So now there are no Republicans anywhere to be seen in our government. They have done what they set out to do. They have rid every place, including all the committees. It's like the Republican exterminators have come in and they've exterminated all the Republicans, and now the committees are all filled by Democrats. And now it's a complete totalitarian one-party ruled state. Can't happen, won't happen. Here's the number. Call early, call often. 207-287-1300. 207-287-1300. That is Speaker Ryan Fecto's office. You can also call the governor's office, 207-287-3531. 207-287-3531. If you want me to email you the number, you just go ahead and send me a request, and I will send you the phone numbers. And I've got it posted anyway on my page if you check that out on Facebook. Okay, I'm way over time now. I'm going to be in trouble, so I will go. Have a great afternoon. Thank you for joining me. Please share, like the platform, follow us, and all that. Make sure you listen to AM 1160 if you can, or listen 24/7 at legacy1160.com. Have a great afternoon. I will talk to you tomorrow morning. Mike Violette back tomorrow morning at 6. Peace out. Have a great day.
Legacy 1160, WSKW.
Pools Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning in Waterville has been providing Central Maine contractors, homeowners, and businesses with fast, friendly, reliable, and economical service for 80 years. It's time to think about air conditioning systems, humidifiers, and air filtration units. Don't be caught this summer with an air conditioning system that can't handle your needs. Call Pools Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning at 872-6762 and talk to Jeff Pellerin about the Mitsubishi Mr. Slim ductless air conditioning system that's designed to cool in the summer months and add additional heat in the winter months. For plumbing supplies, bathroom fixtures, toilets, sinks, faucets, vanities, tubs, showers, and lighting fixtures, visit their showroom at 19 North Street in Waterville. And don't forget, when